The ball field and picnic area to the right are where the parade ground was. Beyond that is a huge building. This is the barracks where Ted Weber stayed in 1943.
I can remember that I had an upper bunk, and from that bunk to the window I had a view of the San Francisco skyline at night, which was kind of romantic.
The East Garrison was built shortly after Battery Ledyard. Most of the buildings here date between 1910 and 1912. Fort McDowell was part of the San Francisco Port of Embarkation. With its mission revival architecture and its magnificent setting, this was a beautiful base. As the tram travels along Officers Road, notice the stand of cypress lining the right side of the road. These trees were originally a well-trimmed hedge. Ahead, at the end of Officers Row, is the administration building. Once we've passed the administration building, look for a newer yellow building on the left.
I remember the chapel very clearly, perhaps because
Good morning. Thank you for coming to Angel Island. You are in East Garrison of Fort McDowell. The whole island here, when it was under military rule, shall we say, from about 1901 or 1902 until its base finished in 1964, it was referred to as Fort McDowell, not Angel Island. Here on this side of the base in East Garrison, this was a beehive of activity in World War I and World War II. The buildings, except for the chapel and the electrical building behind me, all the other buildings were built between 1910 and 1917. So they've been around a little while. They can tell a lot of stories. Well, primarily the beehive of activity here on the island was in World War II. This island served as a casual replacement depot. What is casual replacement depot? Thank you, ma'am. Great question. What it is was that when we had all these units in the Pacific, ranging from the Aleutian Islands all the way down to Australia, if they had a shortage of men for some reason, injury or any other misfortune, a requisition was put in and they were filled out of this island. This little island you see right here right now, and maybe there's 1,000 people on it, maybe, right now. Typically, the island would have 10 to 14,000 men on it at any one time. The average rotation is 3 to 7 days before they were shipped back out, crossed overseas to a unit. Now, they were not told where they were going until they got there. So, the purpose of the chapel is there's nothing closer to God than men going to war. So they felt they needed to have a chapel here because now all of a sudden everybody was getting serious in their last 7 days before they shipped out. Now, to give you an idea of the activity on this island, 330,000 men shipped off this island as replacements. In the San Francisco Bay Area, they call it San Francisco Port of Embarkation, 1.6 million men, over 50% of the force shipped out for the war was shipped out of this area. 400 troop ships. 400 troop ships and about 4,000 freighters were shipped out of San Francisco area. This island alone required 1.4 million gallons of water a month. They had to be boated in and pumped up the hill to storage tanks. The building, semi-dome structure to your rear right, was a dining hall. And I'm about to get run over. So, that dining hall, on average, served 250,000 meals a month. At a peak of 311,000 meals in December of 1945. Let me leave you with one quick little story. Who did we fight in World War II? Who can tell me? Japanese? Who else? And? The Italians. Well, the Italians, they gave up pretty quickly in the scheme of things. And so, even though they processed prisoners of war here for Germans and for the Japanese, by the time the Italians got here, they were actually on our side, and they formed a quartermaster battalion, which is responsible for the maintenance of the island, 260 men. Now, but let me tell you the deal these gentlemen had. They were clothed, fed, paid, housed by the U.S. Army, and here's the best part of it. I believe it was in San Francisco. Now, those of us who know San Francisco history a little bit, there used to be, more so than it is now, a very large Italian population in San Francisco. They could go into San Francisco and not even worry about speaking English. So they were repatriated to their homes no later than 1948. Most of them did not want to go because they knew Italy was flat, and it was over here was pretty nice, and they were integrated in San Francisco pretty deeply. Well, they were repatriated, but we do have 2 confirmed cases of 2 of them came back in 1950 and married their sweethearts. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming into Island. Make sure you thank your driver. They do a great job. We appreciate it. Glad to see you back. Thank you.
Thank you.
The most exciting time at Fort McDowell